Welcome back to the On Air with Jamie podcast. Today's show is brought to you by The Shift, my one-on-one intensive session for which I just officially opened 4 spots. Yes, 4. I was about to say 3, but it's 4. 4 spots for September. And honestly, I love this session so much. This is actually based off, I used to do what was called shift sessions, which were miniature versions of this intensive. They're one-on-one reprogramming sessions, but we've 10x them because in these sessions, what we actually do is a really deep dive into your vision, your goals, map it all out to really help you to anchor into that vision. Because, in my opinion, your vision is your North Star, it is your guiding point for everything that you do. And then what we do is really unpack, okay, what's in the way? What are the actions we need to take? And what is in the way of taking these actions? We allow your subconscious to tell us, because remember, we're not here for problem solving frequency. We're not going to go digging into your conscious mind looking for these problems. We literally let your subconscious mind experience the outcomes. It's going to tell us what's in the way, and then we're going to recode that shit. I also love to follow these up with a week of Voxer access so that we can work through anything that comes up after the session. Honestly, these sessions are so powerful. And I found that when I was doing them a lot last year, because by the way, this is like the first time this year that I've opened my books for these sessions. When I was doing them a lot last year, the downloads and the intuitive hits and the things that I was getting for people were fucking wild, because it's just insane. When I connect to your energy, I can receive information for you and downloads and guidance. And some of the things were just like next level. And to then watch it like play out in people's lives is just so fucking rewarding. So I love these sessions. Go and check it out. All of the information will be in the show notes. Today's episode comes with a trigger warning. And it comes with a trigger warning because it's actually inspired by someone who messaged me saying they felt incredibly triggered after actually watching a TikTok video. Now, ironically, this video wasn't even my own. It was a snippet from a podcast that I did with Erin Henry on the Chillpreneur podcast, which I'm also going to make sure was linked below because it was such a good conversation. And we went in so many different directions. It's honestly just like there's so much gold in that one episode. So make sure you go and listen to that. But this was a snippet from that episode where basically Erin asked me, well, not basically, she actually did. She asked me if I believed, due to capitalism, that the personal development industry and coaches were actually keeping people stuck in personal development and coaching. To which I replied a complete 1000% fuck yes, I do believe that. And of course, that is triggering for some people, especially people who are in this industry, who are coaches, who do help people on any level of mindset, energetics, inspiration, motivation, female empowerment, right? What I really want to do is give you an in-depth explanation of why I think this, where this came from, and why I'm so convicted in this. But I do want to say this episode comes with a trigger warning, but also know that I truly believe that people have their heart in the right place with this. I'm not here to shit on people or to be bagging other people's modalities out or the way that they work with people. What my intention really is to give you something to think about, something to contemplate on. Because I truly believe that when you know better, you can do better. And that's also not to say that other people need to do better, except that, you know what? You know what? Fuck that. I'm actually going to say it, that there are people in this industry who actually do need to do better. And let me tell you my story first, and then I'll go into why I think this is such a big issue, why I think it's contributing to the problem-solving mindset, problem-solving frequency, and why I think that this is really keeping people stuck. So I was first introduced to personal development when I joined network marketing in like 2018, 2019, and I was literally obsessed. I was so fucking obsessed because it made me feel so good. It was like the answer to all of the reasons that I knew I'd been holding myself back. It was like, oh, well, now I know why. Now I know why I do this. Now I know why I do that. And that's all so amazing. And I want to say that, like, the awareness piece, like actually being aware of why you do the things that you do and the patterns that you have and the beliefs that you have, that's so fucking empowering, especially when you're in the beginning phases and just newly being introduced to this world. I will be the very first person to say that I understand, especially with the stuff that I talk about. Like, I'm fucking connecting to your energy and I'm helping to reprogram your mind and release trauma from your body and unblock your chakras. Like, it's a fucking lot to take in, right? And so I will be the first to say that this world can seem really scary. And so to be able to just dip your toe in and feel seen and feel recognized and feel understood, it feels so good. But the problem that I have with it is, and this is exactly the cycle that played out for me, I got obsessed with it. I was listening to the books, listening to the books on Audible, reading the books, listening to the podcasts, watching the YouTubes, doing the courses, doing the programs, doing the journaling, doing the angel cards. I had the fucking crystals. I was listening to training and personal development every single like waking spare moment of my life while I was driving to work, in my tiny little lunch breaks that I got as a pharmacist, because you don't get lunch breaks, and like all of this stuff, right? And I was so obsessed with it because I felt seen for the first time really in my whole entire life. But what happened was, the more I continued to dive into the world, the more problems that arose. I started to see these beliefs and these things popping up for me that maybe they always were going to pop up, but the way that it was coming up was like, oh, there's another block that I need to go away and fix. There is another belief that's uncovered. Here's another way I'm self sabotaging myself. And it became a way that I could actually play small, because I could get caught over here in this loop of personal development, in this loop of mindset work and fixing and healing and rewriting beliefs and all this stuff. And I still wasn't actually taking the action on the things that I knew would move my business forward. And so I actually think that most of the time, personal development work, mindset work is just a distraction, keeping you stuck from doing the things that you know you actually need to do, when in actual fact, the point of personal development is so that you can do the things that you know you need to do, so that you can expand yourself to hold more, to receive more, to expand your capacity, to rewrite the beliefs that are holding you back in order to continue to move forward. But there is not enough emphasis placed on that aspect. It's all placed on uncovering the beliefs and talking about how the beliefs are keeping you small, and how thoughts become things, right? And keeping you empowered and motivated and inspired, when actually all any of that's doing is giving you dopamine hit after dopamine hit after dopamine hit, and then you can't hold it. And so it turns into this loop where this is what it looks like. This is how it actually plays out, right? So you're taking action, something comes up. It's a block that you need to fix. So you run back here and you start doing the mindset work, doing the journaling, doing the affirmations, and then you feel inspired and empowered and motivated again. So you start taking action on your business again until another mindset block pops up, and then we go through the same cycle again and again and again. And it keeps people addicted to wanting the validation and the empowerment and the inspiration and the motivation. And the reality is that you don't need to seek any of that from outside of you. You don't need to seek that from a coach. You actually should be seeking all of that from within. And when you truly dive into what I believe is the deep and powerful personal development, what you actually should be doing is coming back to yourself. You know, I truly see, and I think the way that personal development is kind of perceived in the online space, particularly, is that you're doing this work to become a different version of you, right? What I actually believe is that you're doing this work to become who you truly are, to become who you are at the core, your most truest identity that is not limited by stories and conditioning and bullshit beliefs that were actually not yours to start with. Now, my biggest problem with the personal development industry in general, this is obviously not everyone, right? But in general, my biggest problem is that it keeps people stuck in this problem solving frequency. It keeps people stuck in looking for problems in their life and in their business and in their mind that they then use as excuses to not take action while they step back and heal and fix the beliefs and do the mindset work, do the inner work, right? Instead of just taking action towards their goals. Now, what we know to be true is that when you look for problems, you will find them. And as humans, we're wired to see problems and to see danger and to see the negative before we'll see any of the positive. So every time you go journaling, looking for problems, trying to uncover things, you'll literally uncover them. But the reality is that they may not necessarily be the actual problem that is in the way of you achieving your goals. Now, I do really think that having conscious awareness of these patterns, of the beliefs that you have, and all of that is incredibly empowering, especially in those beginning phases, especially when you're just being introduced to this whole new world and this whole new industry. Because we know that business is the greatest personal development journey that you will ever embark upon. Like literally, it's like a whole spiritual awakening and fucking reinvention of yourself all in one. Like if you want to completely change your life, go and start a business because it's going to force you to do things that you've never done before, and it's going to uncover things that never would have come up had you have stayed in your actual career, right? And so having awareness and understanding the patterns that you have and why you do things the way that you do them is incredibly powerful. And it's empowering and it's helping you to build your relationship to yourself. And that's amazing. But the problem with this is that awareness doesn't fix the issue. Awareness is literally just like, okay, it's like shining a light on something, right? It's literally shining a light on something that's a problem. So let's say there's a problem with your car, because, we're mechanics, right? Bear with me. There's a problem with your car. Like something's just not right in the engine. And so you lift the bonnet, the hood, depending what country you're from, and you've got a torch because, it's a bit dark and you see it. You see that there's something there and something stuck, right? And that's what's causing the noise in your engine, right? But shining the light on it doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't take the thing out of your engine to help it run properly. You just know what the problem is now, right? And while, yes, there is merit to positive psychology and, the affirmations and all of that, we can help to raise our vibration and raise our frequency through all of this positive psychology stuff. But what about these limiting beliefs? If we're constantly always reframing and shifting our energy state, and it's like we're running away from these beliefs that are actually deep ingrained into us, and they're just going to continue to pop up time and time and time again until we do something about them. And I really believe that this is the work that actually keeps people stuck for so fucking long. Like, I believe that self-sabotage is the biggest killer of business. I really believe that self-sabotage is the biggest killer of business because people can't continue to work through this stuff. Eventually they start to tell themselves stories like, it's just not working for me. It's just not meant for me. This isn't working how it's meant to. That's not working how it's meant to. I don't have time for this. I don't have energy for this. And while, they may all be very valid excuses, they're also more than likely linked to these subconscious beliefs and subconscious conditioning that's actually keeping you small. Now, again, I'm not trying to shit on people who are building businesses out of empowering other people. I honestly think that that is amazing. And I really believe that there is space for all of us. But what I would love to see more of in this industry, and the way that I really think that things need to go in order to stop this cycle and to keep people from being stuck in this obsessive loop of fixing and healing themselves in order to achieve their dreams, is two things. Number one, that instead of waiting to come up against blocks, instead of waiting to see problems and waiting until we're so fucking stuck in self-sabotage cycles and feel stuck and stagnant, that we actually start to infuse this work into everything that we do. This is where people like myself come in. And obviously, I'm not alone. Like, there are hypnotherapists, there are EFT practitioners, kinesiologists. Like, there are so many amazing modalities out there that can actually help you get to the root cause of the things keeping you stuck, so that you can reprogram them. Having conscious awareness of something doesn't get to that root cause. And so that's going to keep coming up over and over and over again until you actually get to the root. And so, working with someone like myself or people with other amazing modalities proactively every week, every fortnight, like I spoke about a few episodes ago, where I said the secrets of millionaires is that they're not waiting to come up against themselves. They're literally doing this work at the same time. They don't just have business coaches that they're talking to feel fucking motivated and inspired. They're actually working on shifting their energy and shifting their beliefs and rewriting this shit at the core so that they're not coming up against themselves. In the medical world, we call it prophylactic treatment. So, if you're going to travel to a country where malaria was prevalent, we don't just wait until you get malaria and then treat the malaria. And that's what we're doing in the mindset space, right? We're waiting until you come up against a block and then we're trying to treat the block or fix the problem. No, no, no. If you're going to a malaria prevalent area, we're actually giving you antibiotics and antivirals to take before you even go to that area, that are going to prevent you from extracting an infection so that we don't then have to treat it, right? And that is what we can do with this mindset work. When you couple this with the strategic work that you do, with that business coach who fucking lights you up and empowers you and validates you and does all that stuff, right? All of the positive psychology. When you couple this with actual deep reprogramming and deep energy shifting work and releasing your traumas, you are fucking unstoppable. And this is what I want to see more of. And I get it. Like, there are so many coaches out there who are not trained in this and who think that they're doing the best for their clients by basically blowing smoke up their ass, but trying to empower them and motivate them and giving them little journaling activities to do that's going to make them feel really good, but it's not getting to the root cause. And so you can actually be doing more harm than good when you are not able to help someone get to the root cause and actually work through it on a subconscious level. Let's talk about that quickly, because there are two levels of mind, in case you're not aware. And I'm just going to assume that you're not aware if you're listening to this. In case you're not aware, there are two levels of mind. There are actually three levels, but let's just talk about two of them. The first one is the conscious mind, and that is 5% of what you're aware of, or 5% of your whole brain's capacity. And it's everything that you're aware of. It's like you listening to this podcast right now, you're in your conscious mind. And then the other 95% is the subconscious. It's the autopilot. It's the beliefs. It's the emotions. This is like where everything is stored. Imagine it a computer system, right? And what you can see, like your desktop, what you can see is your conscious mind. But like there is a whole system that runs your computer that you can't see, like it's built into it, right? That's your subconscious mind. If there's a problem with your computer, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to fix it from like cleaning up the desktop. And that's truly what I believe a lot of personal development work does. That is what the journaling and the affirmations and the positive psychology stuff, it's very much just cleaning up the desktop, right? But the way I want you to think of subconscious reprogramming, and when we do this deep inner healing and the deep mindset work, is that we're actually going into your computer, into the hard drive of your computer, and we're clearing that up. We're removing bugs and we're defragging it and we're clearing up old files that are slowing it down and that are not relevant to the way your computer needs to work now. This is the work that needs to be done. And the beautiful thing with this is that you actually, when you're working with the subconscious mind properly, you don't need to go looking for these problems, right? You can actually allow your subconscious to tell you what's in the way. This further prevents the problem solving frequency. Because remember, when you go looking for problems, you're going to find them. And so when we allow our subconscious to tell us what is in the way, we can get to that root cause so much faster. So much faster. And then we're actually getting to the root, and we're removing that file, we're rewriting that file, that thing that is slowing the whole system down. And then we can just keep on with our fucking day, right? And I really think that this is the path forward, and this is the way that things need to be done. And what I would love to see shift in this industry is like so much more collaboration of coaches in order to have this effect. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing for our clients. We all want our clients to reach their goals. That's actually what we're all here to do. In one way or another, we are here to facilitate our clients from going from where they are now to where they actually want to be. And we all have these amazing skills and fucking gifts and modalities and different ways of working with people that actually can all fit together in a really beautiful way. But it's like we're fucking competing with each other still. And there's no intercoach freaking collaboration or even like referrals. What I would love to see is when a client comes to someone whose gifts are really in the strategic space or in the marketing space, or helping them with all of the nitty-gritty of building their business, and they start to see these cycles come up, and they're like, hang on a minute, like we've been through this, like we've spoken about this, and you're cycling, you're coming back to this same thing. Or better still, here's the glaringly obvious thing that something is in someone's way. If you're a strategic coach, or like you're a marketing coach, or a social media coach, or whatever in that space, right? And you see, like, you're having consults with people, you're doing programs with people, and they're not taking action, it means that something's in the way. They're sitting in resistance, they're sabotaging themselves. They need to do mindset work. And as much as you want to give them beautiful tasks like journal on this and think about this and fucking lift them up and tell them that they're here to be seen and they deserve everything that they desire, like that's all beautiful and it's amazing, but it's not going to actually help them in the long run reach their goals, because what you're actually doing is giving them a huge dopamine hit, and they're training their brain to then go and seek validation from outside of them. Because, oh, well, last time I was feeling shit, I just went to this coach and she made me feel so good. So now every time I feel shit and I'm not taking action, I'm just going to go there and I'm just going to look for that. And so what I would love to see is when you see people in those cycles and, yes, still build them up and still empower them, but then also help them to acknowledge that this is a cycle and that you've seen them in this cycle and you've noticed it, and refer them to someone who can help. Even if it's not me. Like, I'm not here to be like, refer everyone to me, because I can't help everyone in this whole world as much as I'd love to. Even if it's not me, refer them to someone who can help. We all have a place in this industry to really keep it in integrity and to really serve our clients in the way that is best for them. And this, for me, is the way that is best for everyone. I really do believe that there is a whole portion of this online industry that is actually keeping people stuck in problem solving and trying to fix and heal themselves, rather than helping them rewrite that stuff and continue to move forward towards their goals. At the end of the day, all of our intentions, all of our goals is to help our clients get to their goals. Like, that is it. That's what this whole industry is built on, helping people get from one place to another, from one place where they don't want to be anymore, or where they feel stuck, or where they feel stagnant, to the other place where they actually want to be, where they actually get to live the life that they fucking desire. And if we work together, we can actually achieve that for all of our clients. But it really starts with stopping all of this focus on the 5% conscious mind and just the awareness and the positive psychology and the trying to build people up and getting them stuck in dopamine hits and seeking validation. And it actually needs to focus instead on the 95% subconscious mind, getting to the root cause of all of the things that are holding them back in order to actually help them progress forwards. And I do really want to finish this by saying that, again, this mindset work doesn't have to be, oh, we go over here and we fix and we heal and then we can take action. This work actually works best when it's done simultaneously. You know, you get to be healing and be working through these beliefs and be reconditioning yourself and be releasing trauma whilst also fucking kicking goals, whilst also making big audacious moves in your business, whilst also making bank, right? It's not one and then the other. It's we get to have both, and we absolutely can hold both. This is the way that I see millionaires running their business. They're not waiting to come up against themselves. They're literally scheduling appointments with people just like me in order to help them through this stuff as it's arising, to keep in momentum. This isn't hustle culture. This is flow and momentum. And this is where you really ground into yourself for validation and give yourself your own fucking dopamine hits, rather than continually be relying on an outside source that basically you have to pay to have access to. So I want to finish up here. I want to thank you so much for listening. If you are still here, which of course you are, and I would love to know, like, what landed the most for you? Or are you also feeling highly triggered? In which case, my DMs are so open. I am so happy to have these conversations with you, of course, respectively. And I'm obviously not here to shit on other people, but I really do believe that when we know better, we can do better. And that really is my intention with this episode, is to just give you another perspective, give you something to contemplate on, give you something to think about. And I want you to really ask yourself, how can I do better? Like, how can I stop contributing to this, like, capitalism essentially of an industry and of self-help and of keeping people stuck in a narrative that just doesn't serve them?